What's up, everybody? Today, I gotta put on my Minister Erskine Gibson hat, the modern day prophet, here on behalf of Church of the Enlightened. And this video is gonna be called Why the Infinity Line is the Most Important Mathematical Equation in All of Existence. And no, that's not clickbait. I'm not trying to fake y'all out. I'm gonna really tell y'all and explain to y'all why this concept that I came up with called the infinity line is so important and why it explains so much about everything. Now, I did have help coming up with this, and I have to, give credit where credit is due. My friend Ant helped me out, and my friend Rio helped me out. They both helped me get to the point where I came up with this, through discussions I had with them. And I'm gonna talk more about Rio because Rio actually helped me come up with a few things besides, the infinity line. So, what I'm gonna do here today is explain to y'all exactly what the infinity line means and what it represents. Now, some of you may be familiar with the yin and the yang. Now, the infinity line goes way further than the yin and the yang. Because the infinity line, the yin and the yang is basically the one and the negative one and the one for the infinity line. But it's missing a zero, and that's what the infinity line is. It's -1 and +1 perfectly balanced by the zero. Now, when you look at this infinity line, what this is right here is the beginning of everything in existence. Everything in existence. Not just the universe. Everything in existence. Our universe is so small compared to everything in existence. I can't even tell you. If you put everything in existence under a microscope, you wouldn't see our universe. It wouldn't be visible. So, basically, when you look at the -1 and the +1, what you are looking at are the first instances of matter. Matter makes up everything in existence. Everything in existence is made up of atoms, and atoms are made up of matter. So everything in existence is made up of matter. The first instances of it. That's where it all began, at the -1 and the +1. But you also have to factor in the zero, because the zero perfectly balances the -1 and the +1. And what that means is that if you want to look at God, if you want to think of a God, this is God right here. This is the beginning of everything. Now, if you can understand what I'm saying, understand that -1 and +1 is just the beginning. You can always add 1 and you can always subtract 1. That means we're talking infinity in both directions. That's why it's called the infinity line. Because what this shows you is that creation, or our existence, can be infinitely big or it can be infinitely small, or is actually infinitely big and infinitely small at the same time. And one other thing that's very important is you count out to infinity. Notice every 10 numbers, you come back to the zero. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, up to 100, up to 1,000, up to 1,000,000, a billion, trillion, and so on. It doesn't stop. So that shows you that zero balances everything in existence. Now understand, this is mathematical. This is not the reality. This is just the mathematical source code of everything that's in existence. But I can't really tell you or explain to you what -1 and +1 is, But I can explain to you what the zero is. And the zero is what balances everything in our existence. Now, also you have to understand this. I said that the negative one and the positive one are the first instances of matter. Now, understand that the zero contains no matter at all. The zero has no physical form. It has no gender. It has no anything. What the zero is a concept that Rio also helped me come up with called metaphysical. And what me and Rio figured out, defined metaphysical to be, is something that exists that has no physical form. Now, I'll explain to you as I make the, I go through the video, what those type of things may be. But I'll let you think about that for a minute while I keep going. The zero is metaphysical, meaning the zero has no physical form. It contains no matter at all, but it's still there, and it's also still a force. It is the metaphysical force that balances everything in existence. That's what the zero is. Everything. The zero is everywhere, including us. The zero is in us. The zero is our brain, because our brain balances our body. Our body, if you notice, everything is in twos. Our eyes, our lips, our ears, our nostrils, our rows of teeth, our arms, our legs, our feet, everything is in twos, because the brain balances our body based on it, being twos. It balances both sides of the body. Now, some of you may think you got me, like, okay, wait a minute. If the zero is metaphysical, the brain is made of matter. And yes, that is true. I said the brain is the zero, but the brain does have a physical form. But the brain has something that doesn't have a physical form. It's called our consciousness. Our consciousness is the metaphysical representation of zero in us, because our consciousness exists, yet it has no physical form. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. You can touch the brain, but you can't touch our consciousness. That is the representation of zero. And that representation exists all throughout creation. Another example of zero would more than likely be the sun in our solar system, because the sun balances all of the other planets. Now, if we insignificant creatures have the zero in us, by way of our consciousness, which represents this metaphysical force, then that also must mean that if the sun is zero, there's also going to be that metaphysical force there, which also may mean that the sun is conscious, the sun is alive, it's a living thing. But everywhere that the zero exists, there's going to be that metaphysical force. So, Rio asked me a question one time, and I feel the need to answer it here in this video, because it's the most important question that I've ever been asked. It's literally the most important question. He asked me, because he understands the infinity line. In fact, Rio is a genius like me. Rio is the only person who can really talk to me on my level that I've met. And I talk to a lot of people. Rio is the only person I've met who can talk to me on my level and actually make me think beyond what I would normally think. And I've come up with a lot of different concepts because of Rio, and I have to give him that credit. So he asked me, is there anything beyond the number line, or anything that wouldn't apply to the number line? Is there anything that exists that wouldn't apply to the number line? And I told him no. I said that everything in existence is based off of a mathematical source code. Everything is mathematical, meaning everything will fall on the infinity line. Now, thinking about that, I realized I was wrong. Everything can't be looked at mathematically, meaning you can't apply mathematics to everything. I was right in the sense that mathematics applies to everything in the physical world, meaning everything made of matter. Everything made of matter has a mathematical source code. everything. But metaphysical force, you can't apply the same mathematics to it. There's no way to measure that with the same mathematics we use to measure matter. So, Rio, you were right, and I was wrong in this instance. There is something that doesn't apply to the infinity line, or something that you can't use mathematics for. Now, there probably is a mathematical way to discern metaphysical force, but you can't use the same math that we use for the physical world. It may be its own special mathematics. I remember reading somewhere that numerology talks about the levels of consciousness. Now, when I studied numerology, I didn't come across anything like that, but maybe I have to get with somebody who really understands it, that can explain it to me, and maybe something like numerology may explain a way to measure metaphysical force, or explain it in a way that regular mathematics can't. Because the thing is, math applies to matter, or what's in the physical world. And metaphysical force is not matter. It doesn't contain matter. So you can't use math to look at that. And also, I also don't know how this metaphysical force, the way it always will be. I have no idea. And I have no way to tune into it. Some people can tune into things like that. Like my friend Rio, he has all types of outer body experiences and things like that, because he probably can tune into the metaphysical force that surrounds us. I can't do it. I think I'm just too logical. I'm just too tuned to the physical world, the mathematical world. So I can't tune into that. But this metaphysical force is everywhere, apparently, because the zero is everywhere. And everywhere the zero is, the metaphysical force will be. So, I know I put a lot out there, and I've tried to explain a lot. But the one things I really want you to remember about all of this is that the zero balances everything, because the zero is everywhere. And the purpose of it is to keep everything in existence balanced. Balance is everywhere. You can't, even our brain is balanced between logic and emotion, logic and creativity. Our bodies are balanced, as I explained earlier. Everything in existence is balanced because the zero is everywhere. Also, the first instances of matter are the -1 and the +1. And that means you can always add 1 and you can always subtract 1. So there is no limit to how big our entire existence can be. It's infinite. There is no limit. There is no stopping point. Wherever it sits at now, let's say it sits at a googolplex to the power of 100. A googolplex is the biggest number I can think of. Let's say it sits at that. It can still get bigger. There is no limit. That means there is no limit. Now, I'm going to tell you something else to think about. If you think I'm playing with all of this, think about the fact that the way we send information is in zeros and ones. Now, because we send information using 0 and +1s, it makes me think we may be on the positive side of the 0, but I don't know that for sure. So, it also makes me wonder what would happen if we tried to send information using zeros and -1s. Would it just be the same thing, or would it be something different? I've wondered that, and maybe one day, we'll know. But those are the things I really, really want y'all to think about. It's a lot of false information out there, and we're brainwashed from the time we're babies. And unless your mind is unlocked, unless you can really unlock yourself from all of these falsehoods, lies, and deceptions, you probably won't even be able to understand what I'm saying, where I'm coming from. But I'm telling you, what I'm saying is the absolute truth. I just can't be more clear. It's the absolute truth. Everything I'm saying. And, as you can see, I got that tattoo right there, because that's how I was important it is to me. Now I got another one right there. I'm gonna do a video specifically geared towards the ratio 4 to 1. Oh, I wanted to give you all another example of something that could be considered metaphysical force. One is magnetism. Say if you got two magnets and they attract each other or they repel each other, you don't know, you can't, there is no force there that you can feel, but it happens, it's there. That is a perfect example of metaphysical force. Our consciousness is another example of metaphysical force. It's something that's there, but we can't feel it. Gravity would be a metaphysical force, and that's what this 4 to 1 refers to. It refers to the gravitational relationship between objects. We have 4 to 1 all through us and it allows us to move freely through this gravity on Earth. Like I said, I'm gonna do a whole video dedicated just to that. So the 3 examples I have of metaphysical force will be our consciousness, magnetism, and gravity. But I'm sure there are many, many more examples. And yeah, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and stop it on that. I know I put a lot out there. I would love, please leave some comments, ask some questions. There's nothing I can't answer. And I would just love to talk to people who can understand what I'm saying and understand where I'm coming from. This is real. This is as real as it gets. Man, I challenge anybody to dispute anything I just said. I will debate anybody. Nobody is above my level. There is nobody I can't debate and win against. I won't lose. But anyway, y'all, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel, Church of the Enlightened or Erskine the Prophet. I'm about to change the name of Erskine the Prophet to the Modern Day Prophet. And please, like I said, leave your thoughts and comments. And please share the video with other intelligent people. If you can understand what I'm saying and you know people who have high intellects, please share this video. I need to get this message out there. We need to start enlightening people and giving people the truth, the real truth, the facts, and not all of this phoniness, these lies and deceptions and falsehoods on the religious side and the scientific side. You can't escape it. It's just lies everywhere, but not here, not on Church of the Enlightened. Like I said, I bring the truth, and anybody can challenge me if you think I'm lying. Well, if I'm putting these falsehoods out, challenge me, debate me, anybody. Anyway, y'all, thank you for watching the video. I love y'all. Everybody stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy. Peace.